And just want to talk about decks. Decks are like a really boring subject, but
You
decks
can't
are,
live without them.
yeah. And like,
They're like they make life better.
well, they're super important for tiny homes because not only does it make your space more functional, it's kind of like an integration
Hmm.
with the outdoors. Like, and this is a very small, like I would build if I was living here, this is just here at the shop. If I was living in a tiny home, I'd want one 3 times this
Yeah, I
size.
mean this is like what a 10 by 4,
Yeah.
10 by 5 probably. You
Yeah.
want like a 16 by
Hmm.
12 by 16 or something, you know.
So for me, when I think about decks, I think of a place that I can go and be outside in a comfortable setting and just enjoy nature. And it's also a place, you can go hang out with friends and family and just, kind of tone down. You can do that inside as well, but there's just something about being outside. It's just the nature kind of talks to the soul. If
So decks are what make kind of bring the outdoors and the tiny home living together. And it basically doubles your living space. So your tiny home has your kitchen, it has your bathroom, it has your sleeping quarters, eating quarters, but having a big deck that either connects you to the outdoors or um, to another tiny home. Maybe you have like another sleeping quarters, maybe you have an office, maybe you have a sauna, an art studio, um, maybe you have a just a creative space, but you don't have room for those things in your tiny home, so you buy maybe a cheaper structure and you set it up really close to your main house, and then it's all connected in this creative way by a deck. So you're not like adding these, you're doing it thoughtfully, and you're building like a beautiful deck between these buildings, and actually it provides good separation between the buildings and say the activities that you're doing in the different spaces. So this is kind of like an interesting podcast, but
Standing around instead of
standing
sitting
around,
around.
yeah, sitting around on a deck. Um, like I think a deck really is like imagine if you wanted two tiny homes. Like here we have the office and then we have this other tiny home staged. A deck would you could even connect the two.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
Yeah. Or like you could buy a 30-footer, 30-foot weekender.
Yeah.
They're just a little more. And then you could buy a studio model and you could connect the
Connect.
two, and then you and your wife could have like an office. You could basically have the main space in an office for your work.
Yeah.
And you would basically, or you could have another one too then for like a sauna or a art studio or guest quarters, whatever you need. And a deck is really what connects them.
Yeah.
That's what makes it
Grill, your
possible.
jacuzzi, and
Yeah, and you could set it up in a
all that
very
stuff.
artistic, fun way.
Get some nice lights like this. You get
Yeah,
harmony between both.
right. And you're
And
not like
a deck
red.
adds art almost
Oh yeah,
in
yeah,
a way. Like it adds style.
yeah. I mean, obviously, if you live in milder climates, you'll spend
Hmm.
more time out on a deck.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's the thing. Like I think that's one of the neat things about decks is like you can. There's so many different styles of deck.
Yeah.
Like you got
Hmm.
you got some just really neat. You can get like a suspended deck.
Yeah.
Those are legit.
Even this is really, I
Some
don't
are
even know
just
what this is
basic,
called,
but
but I just slammed it together in the shop. We just needed a little bit of a
hmm
deck. Yeah, here's the great part. So we need some chairs on this deck,
hmm
you know? But honestly, like, if you're building a deck at your tiny home, you probably want to make at least the full length of the tiny home. If it was me, I'd probably wrap it around either the front or wrap it around the back as well.
I would go around the window
Oh yeah,
because who wants to sit out the bathroom?
that's true. That's true. Well, you could have shades for the bathroom
That's
too.
true.
Yeah. But there's so many options with the deck. Like, it makes your tiny home, like you could set it up wherever you're at. It makes it work for your property, basically.
Yeah.
Like if you had a view, if you're looking over the mountains, if you're looking over water or whatever your view is, a deck just makes it. You could put a fire pit built into the deck.
Oh, those are sweet.
You know what I love is I love those built-in tubs.
Oh yeah.
So you can literally just buy
It's
an
like
old.
at level of
Yeah, you can buy an old ceramic tub and build it into your deck, and you literally have a hot tub for,
just
fraction
chill.
of the
Oh
cost.
yeah.
Because you're not heating that water, you're just pouring hot water in, like you're just bringing a hose from your hot water heater and just dumping it in, or you heat water up and put it in.
Yeah.
Right.
And that.
Oh, there's wood-fired hot tubs.
Those are underrated.
Dude,
those are sweet.
That tiny home out in North Carolina that you need to go tour
That'd be fun.
and do a vlog. They have one. They have a cold plunge and a wood-fired hot tub.
I'm all about that cold plunge.
Yeah, Timberwood Tiny Home, guys. Check it out in North Carolina. I think we have it on our website. You can go. So if you live in North Carolina, you've got to go stay there. They have a dope setup. They have a deck a little like this, but it's like bigger.
Yeah. There's something about like I just said, kind of decks bring their own style.
Yeah.
And like me, I love rustic stuff. So like me, if I'm going to build a deck, I want to build it with like some.
How would you go about building a deck?
I would build just like a regular deck, kind of the same as this.
Would you put posts in the ground first?
Depending on like how I'd have to. Like if I'm building on a hillside, yeah, or something.
But if it was like flat, would you
got,
just
like, a
put
good
concrete
view.
blocks down and then just build up?
I'd rather post it.
Okay. So you would dig holes, put posts in.
And because I love railing.
Oh.
I would do like a cattle guard railing.
Dude, why would you do railing, bro?
One of those like hemp rope railings, dude. I'm a sucker.
No, but this is like nice and like clean, and you can walk on, walk off. Like if you're an old person, you could fall down, break your neck, and like get insurance. No, you would like get money on it. Anyways, so
we're not saying that means you should go fall off the deck.
Yeah, so like there's a lot of options as far as building a deck, basically. Yeah. Like you could build your own. It's going to look kind of like this, right? Kind of like, like somebody slammed it together in their shop with leftover materials.
It looks good for what it is.
No hate, but this is how it is.
Optimizing efficiency, man.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Josiah. Just to I think the last thing would be to talk about price. Like, how much is a deck realistically going to cost?
Every state is going to be different, and of course, size is going to make the cost difference. But I would say in a ballpark, as a general size, I would say this is what a 24-foot, 25-foot building.
Yeah.
You're going to want to go the length of that. Maybe say a 25 by 16 or something. And I would imagine the minimal is going to be around $5,000.
Yeah.
With cost.
That's what getting someone to build it.
Getting materials, maybe go $6,000 with because
labor.
A deck is simple.
Right.
It's going to be it's hard work, but it's also simple. Probably if you get a good crew, you can get that done in a day, and they're not going to. Depending on how much they charge for labor, that may be an extra $800, $2,000.
Yeah. One thing that can really save money is height, actually. Mm-hmm. So if you would actually do a little steps over by the by your front door, like another little, maybe you can make it good size so it's not like this little stairway.
Yeah.
But a larger section that's like raised that gets it up to the door height, then this section can be like pretty low to the ground, like maybe 8 inches off the ground.
Yeah.
Which actually looks really clean and minimalistic, honestly.
There's definitely a look to that.
Yeah, and so then for a tiny home, if you would build something really clean like that all the way around, and then just put like flower boxes in front of the wheel wells, basically it would look like a site-built home. Mm-hmm. And then you could put plants, landscaping. You could put a wood-fired. We were talking about the wood-fired hot tub.
Yeah.
You could put a spot for a grill, outdoor kitchen. All of that stuff adds so much value to a tiny home for the money.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to talk about it today. Is decks are honestly, I think, one of the biggest things that makes a tiny home really cool.
Yeah.
If you go to a place and they
adds a lot of character.
Adds so much for the money.
Yeah.
Maybe for less than $10,000, you're doubling the use of your property, really.
Oh yeah.
Especially if you're like connected to a sauna. You've got a sauna. You've got an outdoor kitchen for entertaining people. Mm-hmm. Even when it's cold, you could like use that space. You could get one of those. You could get a little greenhouse for the winter.
Oh yeah.
And then that could be your little backyard, wine garden. Mm-hmm. Whatever you want to call it.
And another thing is I don't know, for me, there's something about, especially if it's cold, say if it's snowy, maybe it doesn't have to be snowy, but if it's cold, you get those, I don't know why I've always enjoyed just sitting around a fire when it's cold.
Oh my.
There's just something about being outside when it's cold. And
so a built-in fire pit.
And you got that built-in fire pit, or you got some of those nice kerosene, like lantern heaters.
Oh yeah.
There's just something about You're just sitting there cozy. You're
Yeah.
like watching the snowfall maybe or
Yep.
something. And they're just
And if like friends invite me over to their place, a lot of times we'll be out on the deck. I'm like, why'd you have this, $500,000 house? And we're out sitting in their yard watching the fire. So like sometimes the simplest things, when it comes to even entertaining people, the simple things are the best.
Yeah.
And learning how to do it well and really intentional with pride and thought, I think is key actually to doing it well.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Less is better.
Thanks for watching. Follow us along.